Hi, if you could tell me a little bit about yourself and your skin story.
Okay, so my name's Ram, and I'm an esthetician, so I see skin all the time, but my skin journey really started about 7 years ago. I would say it was kind of like a pampering situation, alongside with the fact that I dealt with hyperpigmentation that I didn't know was hyperpigmentation at the time. I had like a dark line that like was like a natural contour, but it's really, really prominent. And because I wasn't educated, I didn't know that skincare could help me like target the things that were on my face. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole, became obsessed with it, and then thought, I can be a geek and I can help people be vain. So kind of led me to being an esthetician, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you find that you were able to do anything about the pigmentation you had? Were you successful in your...
Yes, I was successful because I was using a lot of actives at the time. So I was successful in taking away the hyperpigmentation, but what I did was damage my barrier, which was even strengthened my education and my knowledge around skincare even further, because then I started becoming addicted to barrier protection, because for me that's the foundation of skincare. So when I initially was using glycolic acid, I was using it morning and night.
Okay.
Every day.
I know your skin was screaming when you put it on.
And I had lines here. You think I was like in my 50s. The surface dryness was so real. But I thought it was normal. And then it's when it started like, it started becoming irritated, and I thought, I want to research about what I can do to help this. And I started learning about barrier protection. I thought, okay. And it kind of just, made me even love skincare even more.
Okay, so I find this so interesting because immediately, like, a few things I want to quiz you on more. Mm-hmm. One thing that I'm really interested in is, obviously you're an esthetician as well. I'd be interested in knowing what people are coming through your door with and how that relates to your experience. But the other thing that I think with you, like, you've definitely got to the other side where you had figured it all out. But the thing that I'm always really concerned about is the fact that I think for a lot of POC, we have to go through that risky self-experimentation stage to even get to the point where we know about what works for our skin or, you know, what we should do. I would say white consumers generally don't have to face these barriers. And I think, like, there's a lot of evidence to support that, like, POC consumers spend twice as much on skincare. And it's because we have to try more things before we figure out what works for us. But risky self-experimentation, I feel like in the story you told me, it sounds like it was really traumatic, difficult in the sense where, you know, like, your surface dryness was really bad and maybe you had, you know, your skin's immunity was reduced massively and you were going through all these things. But I think sometimes it can actually be, like, fatal. It can be seriously dangerous. You can go through, like, you can permanently disfigure yourself. And I think it's really important that the experiences we had where we were concocting random things and figuring it out, I'm very keen that no more people go through that, because I think those of us who can, like, look back fondly on it as, like, a funny story are the lucky ones. When there are people who are, like, obviously permanently disfigured, scarred, or injured permanently from it. But I love how I feel like your story had a beautiful resolution where it's like, and I learned, you know, about the pitfalls of this and the pitfalls of this, and then I wanted to, and you obviously became an esthetician, because I feel like I had probably a similar origin story where it was like, went through this risky self-experimentation, you know, got my medical degree, studied the skincare literature, developed products. So I think we're both, like, united on this journey of, like, more people need to stop going through these negative things to achieve good skin. I was just really interested in knowing what are your experiences on that end? Like, what are people coming through your front door with? What are their main problems?
Okay. So, you know, your first question about, you know, luckily I came out on the other end. I think what's difficult is the messaging around skincare, because so many products encourage overusage. You know, that can lend to capitalism. I think sometimes we think more is what we need to do. Like, if you have a problem, you know, if this treats it, the more you use, the better, and that's not the case. Especially somebody who's, like, starting their skincare journey, it's essential to kind of, like, fill products out. So I always do encourage my clients that try something, try it on one day, maybe 2-3 times a week. Your skin's loving it. Just like Superfed, you can go to every single day and it still will have its efficacy if it's used, like, 3 times per week. So in clinic, I would say concerns of the clients is always acne, hyperpigmentation. My main concern I would probably say 7 out of 10 clients have surface dryness. Some sort of barrier impact I see on every single client. And I think that's with overusage of the wrong actives or not using them correctly in the routine. So I think now we're quite lucky where a lot of people are educated and they do know, you can use this hyperpigmentation, you can use this for acne, but the way that it's being used is what is causing the surface dryness and the barrier impacts, and the impacts on the barrier. So I think the main thing for me I always do with clients is you can have a treatment with me, but I always give skincare advice and ask what is your routine, what to use in the morning, what to use at night, what patterns are you seeing around your hormonal cycle, because your skin is like a brain basically. Some days you might feel happy, some days you might feel sad, and it's like the same thing with your skin. It's not like a one side.
It's not static, it's like dynamic, changing.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree. And I actually really, really agree with something you said there, which is about how you have your clients and they often think more is better. Like, I used this product once, it was great, I'm going to keep using it. And, if I use this active and this was really great, I can, and I actually think we have such a responsibility as professionals in this space to do the necessary work. And at HUE, we really take that seriously. And one example I'll give is, so Superfade is actually a dark spot night serum. And I think it was can I use it during the day? And actually, you can use it during the day, but because it contains actives that make you photosensitive, that make you sensitive to the sun, actually for us, it's we want, if someone uses it, without following any of the instructions, they totally freestyle how to use it, we actually want to make sure that they're still safe and their skin will not be damaged. So even though you can use it at any time during the day, actually, if it has something that makes you more sensitive to the sun, we're going to market it as a night serum.
Yeah.
So that actually we're removing that risk factor, because you will use it at night, and therefore, even if you're not super diligent with your sunscreen, actually you're using it at night when you're not exposed to that sun. Similarly, I totally agree. People don't realize how important a good maintained intact barrier is for just protecting your skin. It's part of your immune system. It's part of your first line of defense. And people will, so again, I just think for us, I want to take the complexity out of skincare, and in the same way that people come to you and it's I don't have to think, I can come to Ram, she'll give me the tea and she'll tell me what to do and I know that it will be good for me. We wanted to have that same experience where actually you can even just pick something up off a shelf. You can just pick up a Superfade gel and know that there's multiple actives in there that are working for your hyperpigmentation, your acne, whatever it is. Actually, that there are multiple actives in there that are solely in there to promote your skin health, to support your skin's natural immunity, to reduce the inflammatory response in your skin, so that you're able to use it every single day. So that even if you do overuse it, you're not running that risk of damaging your skin, compromising your skin health. Because I almost feel actually, it's not as straight. Skincare is much more complex than your customers or our audience might realize. But I think we're both here to remove the complexity from it, so that you can just enjoy what should be a self-care practice and just reduce and mitigate all of the risky elements that could be associated with it.
100%, I totally agree. And the reason why it's so amazing is because I always tell my clients, you can come to me for treatment, but your first line of defense is your skincare. So it's so amazing to see something that will support, because I do a lot of pills in clinic, right? So whilst a client is on a package of pills, they won't necessarily be using that many actives. But as you know, when you stop treatments, if you're susceptible to hyperpigmentation or dark marks, it can come back. People often, my skin's clear now, I don't really need to be that focused on my skincare routine. I encourage the opposite. So I always like to factor in great products as aftercare after the package, and just knowing that there's a product out there like Superfade, and it's just making me so excited for my clients, because it's something I can say, okay, after your pills, we're going to get you on this to maintain what we've achieved in clinic, because I'm so focused on that. Sometimes I see people they may come, then we'll have a 6-month gap, we'll get them to wear a better place, and then you'll be surprised it can just not as bad, but you will see dark marks if you don't have the arsenal that is your skincare routine and you're not supporting your skin after having advanced treatments. So it's really, really important to have, especially actives that are safe and that work on client's skin. Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree, and I just really feel like we're coming at we're addressing the same thing from different perspectives, and it's just really heartening to hear of your work. And I think there's so much more education to be done, but nonetheless, I think people should be cautious of where they're getting their education from. There's so much information out there. But yeah, thank you for your practice.
Yeah, it's the misinformation. Like, people just need to be, just brands like HUE coming out there and making it simple for people to understand. I do it with my messaging. I mirror my clients, so I really hate to like force jargon at them. It's really simple to understand. Like, even though I'm an esthetician, if I wasn't, I'd be able to understand the brand's ethos. So,
One part, just put it on your list.
yeah, together, we're going to get some great skin out of this.
No, I'm in total agreement. Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely having a chat with you.
You too, lovely.